Happy Thursday, Facebook friends. Welcome back to Facebook. I'm Angie Garza, Director of Professional Learning and Educational Services at ROE47, serving Lee, Ogle, and Whiteside counties. We are going to be engaging in our conversations today about an upcoming special event. It is our second annual Transitional English Language Arts Summit that will be held Friday, December 1st from 8:30 to noon on Zoom. And, as we look forward to that event and promoting literacy and college and career readiness with all of our students, we thought that we would give a little bit of a sneak preview to our Transitional English Summit by welcoming a very special guest on today's Teacher Talk. Our special guest for this morning is Kelly Gingras, and Kelly is an English language arts teacher at Dixon High School in Dixon, but Kelly is also a very special member of our regional transitional English team here, serving also on our local advisory panel for transitional English. And so as we kick us off this morning, I just wanted to take a moment to welcome you, Ms. Kelly, to our Teacher Talk platform here on Facebook. Thank you so much for joining us and taking time out of your busy schedule to talk all things, not only just Transitional English Summit, but, we're going to talk a little bit this morning about what is transitional English, which is also very important. So thank you so much. As we kind of kick off our conversations for this morning, would you mind telling our Facebook viewers and our Teacher Talk community a little bit about yourself and about transitional English and your role in that group locally? I kind of put a teaser trailer out there for that. So if you wouldn't mind catching everybody up, and then we'll dig into our conversations for this morning.
Sure. So I'm an English teacher at Dixon High School. I have been at Dixon for 25 years. I currently teach juniors and seniors. And so several years ago, because I work primarily with upperclassmen, I was invited to join the PASS committee out at Sauk Valley Community College with other high school teachers and college professors from the region. And I jumped at that opportunity because I love to talk about curriculum and what we can do to improve student instruction. And I have a particular interest in how to help my students move from the high school level to the college level. So I was very excited to become part of this group, and I've been part of it for several years now. And so several years ago, we transitioned into becoming the Transitional English team, and have been working on developing the curriculum for our local partnership. That, again, we have a group of high school teachers from the area and then college instructors who have joined together to create the curriculum for the Transitional English class that we are implementing here this year at Dixon High School.
I'm so glad you brought up kind of that historical perspective, because when we talk about transitional English in the state of Illinois, for some people, they might think, gosh, this is a relatively new conversation. But actually, in our area, we've been having that conversation for a very long time. We've been talking about student success and what does it mean to prepare students for that next step in their educational career, or just life outside of high school in general. What is it that they need? So that's something that I'm super proud of. And I, like you, I'm very passionate about that curriculum assessment and instruction. So when we transition to transitional English, it seemed like a natural flow, and we had all the right people at the table. And, just as a quick aside for some of our Facebook community who is not aware, transitional English is a course that, when offered a student's senior year of high school, if they earn a C or better in the course, that is aligned to a set of competencies and key performance indicators established by the state of Illinois, they gain portability and placement at any community college across the state of Illinois, which means that they are able to enter into credit-bearing coursework. Super important. Don't have to start off with any kind of developmental classes. They're set up for success on day one. And that is something that, as a group that has been meeting over the last several years, that everyone was genuinely committed to and excited by. So, as I'm thinking, Kelly, you not only have been an active participant, but you've been a front runner. So Dixon High School is actually offering transitional English this year, and you have a robust number of students who are enrolled in the course. So, as I'm thinking about all the conversations we've had and all the work that we've done, you took that first step and raised your hand. And I'm curious, can you tell us a little bit about, for you, what is that passion or that calling for transitional English? Why did you think it was important to be able to offer this experience, this opportunity to your students at Dixon High School? What do you think the course provides in terms of benefits to those students? And I guess since you are our piloter in this area, what differences are you noticing between transitional English and a regular English 4 classroom? So lots of questions, and you are the just right person to ask because you are actively doing this with a lot of students at Dixon High School this year.
We do have a good number of students enrolled in the class this year. We're offering 3 sections of it. And so we have 2 instructors, myself and my colleague Stacy Hansen are both teaching the class this year. For me, it was really, I have worked with senior level students for my entire career, and my passion is writing instruction. And so I have always been interested in research and what it shows that students need. I wanted to make sure that my instruction was aligned to what the students would actually need to be able to do when they left here. And so my work with the past team was incredibly eye-opening and really convinced me that there was a strong need for students to have a way to measure not just that they have a certain test score or a certain grade to get into those college level classes, but that we can actually prove that they have the skills that they need, which is why the fact that the transitional English course is competency based, where we have a set of competencies that we are determining that students can meet. For me, that provides reassurance for both my students and myself that we are on the right track and that they will have those skills that they will need to be successful when they begin their college journey. So it's been very exciting to know that we have the competencies behind us, that we can really ground ourselves in those as a firm measure of this is what students need to be able to do in order to be successful in those college English classes. And so one of the big differences then that comes into transitional English as opposed to a more traditional English 4 is that we are entirely focused on those particular skills. And so that impacts the way that we approach instruction, as well as the kinds of content that we use. The transitional English course is almost entirely nonfiction based. So unlike traditional English classes, we do not read literature. We focus on the kinds of reading that students are more likely to be exposed to during their college studies. So we focus on reading. We have popular media sources, magazines and newspapers, but we also have scientific journals. We do some research-based reading. So there's a lot of different types of reading materials, but then we also include a wide variety of media. So much of the way that we deliver, information nowadays is through video, through social media, through all of these different forms than what would typically be considered, the content of a traditional English class. And so our goal is to integrate all of these different text types so that students are fluent, not just with their reading skills, but their ability to read information and to understand where their information is coming from and how they can be a critical consumer of that information. Along with that, we focus a lot on the different kinds of writing that we know students will be exposed to. in their introductory college writing courses. So we write in a variety of modes, focusing on argument with some researched argument, cause and effect, definition writing, illustration writing. So we have a variety of different writing modes that the students will be familiar with, so that they are able to apply that to the different kinds of writing situations they will find themselves in when they begin their college studies.
So much of what you just shared really resounds with me as a former English language arts teacher. And what I love about our partnership in particular is the fact that we are bringing together secondary and post-secondary. So we're having those conversations about what on earth are we preparing students for? And so that focus on informational text, that focus on intentional writing and writing in response to text, that idea that students need more practice and really concentrated efforts to refine some critical thinking and analysis skills. Those are the pieces that I think you're right, make this course so much different perhaps than a traditional English 4 class. So thank you for kind of sharing what that looks like. But I'm going to press you a little further because, as I mentioned, you are piloting, you have live students in front of you. And I also know that, one of the unique things about our area is that we actually wrote the curriculum that the students are engaged in. And so you had a unit that you really shepherded along the way. So I'm interested to hear more explicitly about maybe what that looks like and how are students responding? Are you getting some of those anticipated responses, or have there been some things that have completely surprised you?
One of the things that I have so enjoyed about the opportunity to teach this course is seeing how willing the students are to engage with the concepts and the materials. So, for example, we are in the middle of our unit right now about perception and reality. And this unit, I mean, it has some philosophical readings. We read Plato's Allegory of the Cave, and it was a piece that was challenging to the students, but really got them thinking about the issue and that theme that we're focusing on with perception and reality. And then we can supplement that with, we've read some different psychological pieces. We're just starting to look at propaganda and like what defines propaganda. How do we recognize it? How do we respond to it? Does it matter that people use propaganda techniques to sell us just about everything that we encounter? And to see the students be able to take some of these big ideas that are rather abstract and to figure out how they apply to their everyday lives, and to want to talk more about them and to find examples that they see in their worlds, and to really, think about how this affects them and what they can do with this when they're not in the classroom. To me, that's incredibly exciting. Overall, we've had a lot of experiences like that through the course. The themes of the units that we developed in our curriculum are ones that have been really engaging for the students. We started the year talking about how do you personally define success, and looked at a variety of inspirational speeches and some, information about how to develop resilience and how to overcome obstacles. And again, the students are able to take that and apply that to what they wanted to envision for their futures and what success in their near future, but also the long-term future, was going to look like for them. And so we have so many of those kinds of relevant topics that are built into the curriculum that the students are really responding to that very well, and they're enthusiastic about it. And we are just seeing an excitement about engaging in reading and writing that we don't get to see every day, in some of our more traditional classes. And I think that is mostly because these students see a real need for the skills and the topics that we're talking about, and they can see how they're going to apply in their immediate future right away. This is no longer an abstract college is out there and we're going to get there someday. It's very real to them. And because we're always focused on this is what you need, this is what they are telling us you need to be able to do, that has really provided a strong motivation for a lot of the students to say, hey, I want to work at this and I want to improve my skills in these areas.
It's really exciting. And I think, in thinking about all of the work that has gone into building and developing this course, it's also very gratifying. So hats off to you for a successful implementation so far. I am always so excited to hear how students are reacting and engaging in the learning. So thank you for that sneak peek. But on another note, we are going to get to hear from some of those exact same students at our second annual Transitional English Language Arts Summit on Friday, December 1st on Zoom. And last year we were very fortunate. We had Natalie Wexler come and keynote for us, and we had some breakout sessions. This year we have Ben Sondergroth from the Illinois LTC coming to do a keynote on the role of artificial intelligence in the English classroom, or the transitional English classroom. But I think probably more importantly, we're going to get to hear from educators such as yourself about what it's like to implement this course on a day-to-day basis, and all of the things that go into successfully preparing kids for that next step. And we will be hearing from some of your very students. So can you give us a little bit of a sneak peek of each of those things? What are some things that you're going to be sharing in your breakout session? And what are some of the things that the students are going to be sharing as they share their journey?
One of the things that I'm really excited to share about at the upcoming summit is the process that we use for implementing this. I was very involved with that at my school, working with our administration and our guidance department to make sure that we knew what our vision for the course was. Not just that we were adding it to our curriculum, but that we were intentional about making sure that the right students got placed into the course, and what that process looked like for us. Because I've heard in our discussions that there's a lot of schools who kind of struggle with how does this fit in, and what might we have to change. So I'd like to share a little bit about our process with that. And then I also am looking forward to sharing about the content of the curriculum that we developed and how that's working with the students. My students are very excited to have the opportunity to share as well. They're going to be talking a little bit about some of their favorite readings that we've done this year, some of the skills that they think they've improved on, both in their reading, communication skills, their writing skills, and how they see the course supporting their future plans. So they're very excited to share that as well.
It's kind of one of those things where you have that vision, and you have all of the wonderful guidance to help in developing a course, but to really hear from the students about how it's impacting them and their self-perception and their readiness for that next step. I think I just can't wait. That'll be an incredible moment for all of us to be able to share with the entire state of Illinois at our second annual Transitional English Arts Summit on Friday, December 1st on Zoom. So Kelly, I just want to say thank you so much for taking time today to share all of this. And I think probably more importantly, thank you for being such an advocate for your students and so engaged in this process that we have. It's been kind of a journey, really, a very long journey, and one that will continue because our group, in partnership with Sauk Valley Community College, is really committed to maintaining those partnerships because it's the heartbeat of the work and continuing to respond to student needs and helping ourselves professionally and our students to grow. So thank you so much for always being a valued part of that process and a valued voice in the conversation. We appreciate you so much. We hope that you enjoyed our Teacher Talk this morning with Transitional English Language Arts instructor Kelly Gingras at Dixon High School. Dixon High School, a front runner in transitional English implementation here in the Sauk Valley area. We are excited once again to welcome Kelly and her students to our second annual Transitional English Language Arts Summit on Friday, December 1st from 8:30 to noon, and that will be virtual. This conference, this summit is available for the entire state of Illinois for counselors, administrators, and transitional English language arts instructors, as well as college faculty. So if you are any of those people, or you would simply like to learn more, please join us for this event. Registration is currently open at www.roe47.org. As we close out this morning here on Facebook, we wish you a very peaceful rest of your Thursday, a wonderful Fall Friday, and a relaxing and enjoyable fall weekend. And we will see you right back here next Thursday for another edition of Teacher Talk.